Good morning. I'm doing things a little bit differently today because I am full of cold, if you can't tell. Clearly, I sound it. Um, I wanted to show you some things that I've read because I've really not done an update in so long. Um, and I've read some really good things, particularly this weekend. While I have been so ill, I've hardly left the house. Um, the having a cold over the summer is so undignified. Like we have had a heat wave of, you know, dreadful proportions, and it has been like sitting in an oven. It has been awful, but we move. What can we do? Um, I read um this week, and I've loved it. So I read this mostly on the train to work, for context, and also at home while I've been lying in bed, roasting in front of the fan. David Sedaris's The Land and Its People. So, if you've read anything by David Sedaris, well, hang on. If you're fully invested in David Sedaris's writing, you will know that he is an American humorist. His stories are usually quite light-hearted and silly. There often is more of a deeper thread to them, but they're like fun and they're silly, and you can sort of like, you know, um, you can read an essay at a time. You could read the whole book through. His audiobooks are amazing because he records the audiobooks live. He will, before he publishes a book, he will tour doing lecture tours where he reads the stories, the essays out. Um, and they're all just sort of like humorous personal essays. And he tours around and he reads them, hundreds of times on these tours and perfects them, and then they record them live, and then the audiobook is made up of these live recordings, which is great because you get the audience laughter, the shock, the gasps. Like, it's fantastic, really, really clever way of doing it, and they've done it like that for years. If you live in the UK, also very famous for having a really long running Radio 4 series, Meet David Sedaris, where he reads the stories and the essays out. So we've caught up. We know who he is. Obviously, we know who he is. He's super fucking famous. I have loved all of his books. And then his last book, I believe it was called Happy Go Lucky, was sort of anything but Happy Go Lucky. It was heavier and sort of struck a different emotional chord. And I was looking back at it, obviously, before I made this video. And one of the reviews was talking about how he is sort of like getting bitter in old age. And I just thought that was such a crazy, uncharitable thing to say because obviously, I mean, one, we all probably will anyway. But two, that is not how it read to me. It was somebody who is processing the death of his father and like trying to make sense of, the sort of the childhood lived under the shadow of this, really quite awful man. And not awful in the sense that he was abused by this man, but awful in the sense of like, it's a complicated thing to love such a flawed person. And who can't relate to that? Who can't relate to that? So, really, really, actually, quite enjoyed um, the last book. It was just a different tone, but I think he's earned the right to. There were still very funny moments, and there were moments that were quite light-hearted, but the book was what it needed to be. Apologies. Hopefully, I will cut out all the coughs. So this book is a bit more of a return to the more frivolous, the more silly, the more light-hearted, and I loved it. Something that you can track sort of as you progress through David's books is obviously the increasing wealth. Um, I kind of love it. I like reading about somebody going shopping for expensive things, the way they're treated, the way they're perceived when they walk in a shop versus like, when they start spending and how differently they're treated because of that. I think it's all fascinating. It's all interesting. Like it is what it is. It's not you know, I don't think it's like a big moral issue that you need to think too deeply about. Like, this is somebody who is wealthy, who is not pretending to be poor, and I think that's just one of my biggest pet peeves. Really enjoy his sort of obsession with really ugly fashion. Really fills me with a lot of joy. He is a big fan of Comme des Garçons, and he talks specifically about a jacket that is sort of stitched in two quite often. It's like two jackets, but one is shredded. I haven't actually Googled a picture of the jacket, but maybe I'll flash one up on screen just so you can see what I mean. I just, I like someone who's dedicated to the bullshit of it all, just the craziness. I like that. I like a bit of camp. Um, The Landless People is a lot lighter in tone. I think it's clear to see that this is somebody who has worked through, sort of the complex feelings surrounding his dad's death, and now he's like, okay, well, back on with life. Like he sort of talks about how it's not like people miss his father. And I can't remember if that was in this book or in his collection of diaries that I read straight after this, because I'd read his first one years ago when it came out, which was Theft by Finding. And that was his diaries from, I think, the late 80s to 2002, I want to say. So then these diaries were 2003 to 2020, or 2002 to 2020, something like that. I actually listened to them because I went out on a bike ride because I haven't been out the house while I've been ill. So I was like, okay, need to get some fresh air and move. So I listened to the book. So I can't tell what's from where at this point. It's jumbled up, but it just made me realize how much I love him. Like the fact that his diary collections are so entertaining to read when they are, you see glimmers of the things that became essays in his books. You see the story where it came from, and you see how he fleshed it out with talking more about certain things or going off on a tangent about something else. But I really actually quite enjoyed that. I thought it was really fun seeing the genesis of these stories. I would really recommend just getting into David Sedaris. If you're going to start with his earlier stuff and make your way through it, because there's just so much stuff. I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter. You could start with the Landless People and work back, but I think get the full experience. I've read the Santaland Diaries when I was in university, and that's what it did for me. I just went absolutely mad. I remember getting the coach up to Liverpool to visit Rob before he'd moved out to Cardiff, and listening to Let's Explore Diabetes with Owls. Incredible title, incredible book. Dress Your Family in Corduroy and Denim. Fantastic. Really recommend that. When You're Engulfed in Flames, Naked. There's just so many. Make your way through them. Really, really enjoyed Calypso as well. Sort of, I felt like that was possibly him at his most unhinged. The bit about feeding like a growth that he had cut off him to a turtle. I mean, really gross. Break from recording then, but this little piggy was trying to get into a bag of granola on the counter. So, anyway, yeah, really enjoy his books. Really recommend that you get into them. I would really recommend that you try the audiobooks because I think it's a full experience that is worth having. The book's fantastic. Like, I've probably read half of them, listened to half of them. So it's up to you. Make your mind up. You can do either. Um, I would start with the Sunderland Diaries just because I think it just sums up. There's a reason why that was the one that really popped off for him in the beginning. And I think it's because he read it on NPR in the US. So obviously, huge audience, National Public Radio. And it really just exposed him to probably a lot of the people who are still reading and following him today. So, what else did I read? I'm just getting the list up. So I also read Role Model by Rachel Reid, which is one of the Heated Rivalry books, or I'm not sure what the actual title of the book series is called, but it's from Heated Rivalry. It was fun. It was lighthearted. It was just like, when you're having sort of a stressful few weeks and you just need something that is not going to tax the brain too much. That's why I read it, and I really liked it. And it was fun. There's not really much to say about it, to be honest, but it was fun. Before that, I read A Terrible Village Poisoning by Hannah Hendy. I'll show you the cover. I read this on my Kobo, but I'm going to put the cover there on Goodreads to show you so you can see it in bright, vibrant Technicolor. It was really fun. I really like the Dinlady Detectives. I think it's camp, it's funny, it's sort of twee, it's small town. It's just fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to show you what I have on the go at the moment as well, and that is No Such Thing as Monday by Sean Hughes. I've not long started this, so as you can see, I'm probably only maybe a quarter of the way into it. It's about a woman with a very complicated life who is sort of no longer in contact with her sister, and she's sort of exploring why that might be by looking back at her childhood. They had very different experiences, so her sister sort of ended up in a better place in life, but was really just not. She was abused by her father, like physically, he would hit her. And this other sister just was spared all of that, but she's the one whose life turned out quite complicated and messy. It's an interesting dynamic, and I'm enjoying it so far. Um, and then I have This to Begin, which is I don't know why I've put a bookmark in it already, but obviously, like, I've not actually started. I've just put it on the first page. I think it was so I didn't lose the bookmark, because I always do. The Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Vuong. I have never read an Ocean Vuong book that I did not love, so I know this is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to start it. I got this from Bookspace. I actually got both of these from Bookspace. And because it was National Independent Bookshop Week, I got a £5 voucher that I can go back and you can use it in any independent bookshop, but I'm going to use it there because it is a fucking joy to shop in. The way things are laid out, like the range of things that shop stocks is incredible. It's 10 out of 10. So yeah, there's my tangent done. I am going to go feed the cats. Let me know what you've been reading. Let me know if you've read any of the books I've been talking about. Let me know if you read The Land and Its People, because that's I feel like that's the centerpiece of this video. Like, that's the one that really stuck with me in the past few weeks. Let me know what you thought of it, and I will see you soon. Bye.